Hi everyone, John Cottrell here of MBODY Yoga. Welcome to Soft Flow. This is a 60-minute gentle yoga practice. So glad that you're here. For our practice today, I thought we'd do a little twisting, and in particular, we're going to be getting into a pose, just a lunging position that we will twist. And so in preparation for that lunging twist, we'll also do just some other twists. So let's begin our practice. Of course, we need to have some props. I would highly suggest something soft like a blanket or a towel that you can fold up that you'll be able to sit on and kneel on. And I also highly recommend for this practice a couple of yoga blocks or something stackable. Now this could be just a couple of dictionaries that can stack, and you can even have like 2 or 3. They can be quite high, and you'll see why once we get to the lunging twist, how the blocks can really help us in that particular posture. And then maybe just a big pillow or cushion, just another nice tool to have for your practice. Let's go ahead and begin. We'll start in a comfortable seated posture. Feel free to sit on your pillow or blanket. You may want to take a nice full deep breath in. You can breathe in through your nose. You can exhale through your nose or out through your mouth. And then just settle in. Make sure your shoulders feel relaxed, your arms just feel long and heavy in your lap. Feel free to keep your eyes opened as we begin this process. Just gaze forward or even slightly downward at the ground, or even just close your eyes and begin your journey inward. Our journey begins with breath, finding stillness within. Just slow, steady breaths now, in and out. Just paying attention to the sensation and the sound of your breath. I like to call this our breathing meditation as we become fully present, connected, and aware as we move into our practice together. Just continue breathing in and out. Very nice. Just going to add a little bit more awareness to our breath. As you inhale, just feel your breath rising upward and just feel the expansion in your lungs. So this might be a deep or full breath in. Then when you exhale, as you're able, you're going to draw your navel inward toward your spine, belly button pulling inward. You're really just contracting your abdominal muscles there, not too strongly, just enough where you have some sensation. Again, an inhale to, 1, feel the lengthening in your spine, feeling light in your seat. 2, the expansion of the lungs. Then your exhale, pulling inward. It's also a wonderful way to connect to your center. And because we're doing twists in our practice, there is a good focus around this section of the body. Okay, right in the lower portion of your torso. Now, a twisting posture can mean many things. It can represent many things and benefit you in many ways. I'll throw out some ideas, but you can really kind of conceptualize what a twisting posture might mean for you. One image I have when twisting is like having like a wet towel, like you just dunked it into a bucket of water and it comes out sopping wet, and you just wring it out. Okay, you have to twist and wring out the water from that towel. So we can do that kind of with our bodies. Maybe not so extremely, but as we rotate, we twist, and we're actually kind of getting into our organs, giving our kidneys, our liver, just a little squeeze as we twist. So you can think of it as a cleansing or healing approach to our practice. Let's add a simple movement now with our breathing. As you inhale, go ahead and extend your arms out and all the way up, reaching, create a nice stretch through the sides of your body. As you exhale, extend your arms out and let your arms come back down by your side. You're just moving at your own breath pace. We'll do that again together. Inhale, really extend and reach out across the room. Breathing in, feeling your arms float right up into the air. Exhale, draw belly in and reach out. Arms float back down by your side. Now go ahead and continue on your own, just breathing and moving at your own pace. When you reach up into the air, one intention here is to feel a lengthening through the sides of the body. That too will help us in our rotation. We want to create a lot of space in the front body, back body, and the sides of the body. So when we extend our arms up into the air, we're helping to create that lengthening. We'll do a bit of stretching through the sides of the body too. Okay, more so than this, more like side bends. Okay, that too will help us. In our practice, we like to do a lot of preparation before we move into the kind of the designated posture. Now go ahead and finish the breath that you're on and take 2 more breaths. When you're complete, just come to stillness. Just let your arms relax down by your side. Hands can just rest in your lap. Now we're going to do a very mild twist right here, just to kind of introduce the concept of rotating and twisting. I'm going to try to mirror you. I'm going to take your right hand and maybe just out to the side. You can even bring in a book or a block just out to the side here, okay? So you just feel kind of very comfortable here, so you don't have to feel like you have to lean into the ground. Just hand on a block or a book. Now take your left hand and just reach across, maybe just place it on top of your right knee. Okay, before you even rotate, just want to have your hands and arms in place. This arm's just across the body. We're going to inhale and just get as tall as you can. Exhale, just draw belly in and just a simple rotation toward the right corner, okay, just where your hands are. So you can see I really didn't turn that far, just a mild rotation, okay. I'm certainly not pulling myself into the twist. I don't feel like I put too much energy or effort in the rotation. I just kind of turned until I just came to a natural stop, okay. And my hands on this side of my body are really just helping me to hold myself in place. Okay? Let's take a breath in. Once again, feel tall. Exhale, draw belly in. Really just supporting our center as we come back to an aligned body, facing forward. Okay, that's it. We're just going to do the other side. Again, we're just introducing rotation into the body. So I've just placed my block on the other side, left hand here. We'll bring the right arm across and just hold on to the knee or thigh. Okay? Still facing forward. Inhale, just sit up as tall as you can. We're making as much space as we can in the spine. Exhale, pull belly in and then rotate, turn, and just feel how you just naturally stop. I'm stopping here. This is as far as I'm going to go. And then just keep breathing. Nothing special, nothing too out of the ordinary, nothing complicated. Okay, we're not trying to stress the body, just doing things that just really come naturally. And just providing, some benefit to kind of the normal functional things that we do, like twisting. Continue with your deep breathing, just holding in place. 2 more breaths. All right, we'll take a third inhale. Once again, feel as tall as you can. Exhale, draw belly in to support the body, coming back to neutral, and then just relax here. Very nice. Let's take our mild back bend. Here, just take your hands behind you. Just prop yourself up onto your fingertips. Arms are behind you. As you're able, just kind of gently draw the shoulders back as well. Tip your chin up. We're just making as much space as we can in the upper chest. Now, inhale, press into the ground with your fingers. Feel that energy in your arms. Breath rising, filling up your lungs, especially that upper chest region. Very expansive. You may feel this across the chest. As you exhale, draw belly in, securing yourself in the pose. Again, breathing in. Exhale, draw belly in, and as you're able, perhaps squeeze shoulder blades together behind you. Okay, what we're doing here is really just drawing the shoulders back a bit more and then in towards the spine, okay, towards the center of your body. So we've created a mild back bend in this seated posture, but there is a lot of energy still, just because of the effort we've put into ourselves. All right, go ahead and lower your chin. Walk your hands forward. Rest your arms in your lap. Sit up nice and tall. You can even shake out the shoulders if you like. Once again, just returning kind of this neutral, comfortable position. Let's take a forward fold. If your legs are still crossed here, we'll uncross the legs, come to bound angle or cobbler's pose. So the soles of the feet will come together. Here, once again, welcome to use your blocks or books. Just tuck them underneath the legs, especially if they don't touch the ground, and they certainly don't have to touch the ground. Hold on to your shins or ankles so you can sit up as tall as can be. Inhale, full length. Exhale, draw belly in, and then hinge forward just a little bit. This first breath or two, want to see if we can keep the spine very straight. Inhale, more lift. We're creating space in the spine as well. Exhale, draw belly in for support as we move. That's the hinge forward just a little bit. Now you can stay just like this. Again, we haven't gone too far, but then you can add on by creating that curvature in the spine. Maybe just lowering your chin, let the back round, and you might find that you can even go down a little lower without putting any extra stress or strain on your body. And we try to maintain that idea throughout this soft flow practice, that we move slowly, we take our time, we don't go too deep into a pose. We're only working, we like to say, maybe 60 to 70%. Okay, more like a 60%, so that you can be in a pose and hold the posture, for a relatively long period of time, so you can gain a lot out of the posture. So we're maintaining a sense of calm and ease, and really trying to teach our bodies and our minds mostly how to manage when we are faced with stressful situations. Because some of the poses that we do in yoga they're stressful. They're not normal. They're not normal conditions for us. But we want to see if we can maintain that sense of calm throughout. All right, 2 more breaths. And then just lift your chin to help re-extend your spine. We're going to hinge our way back up. You can just use your hands onto the floor and just rise until we're nice and tall. And just come to stillness for a moment. Take a breath. All right, let's move our blocks out of the way here. Take your time and just maneuver yourself to hands and knees. Here you might want to use your blanket or towel for that padding for your hands and knees. Here we go. So a little tabletop posture here. We'll inhale and lift your head and heart, arching the back, tilting the pelvis back. This is cow pose. Then exhale, tuck chin in towards chest, feel the curvature of the spine. Belly button pulls up towards spine, and we tuck the tailbone under. Then inhale, rock the pelvis back, the belly might drop a bit. There's our back bend. Open your heart, look forward. Exhale, round it out. Continue at your own pace. You can go slowly as you'd like, or you can pick up the pace a little bit. Just so you feel this good undulation through the spine, the movement and rocking of the pelvis. We're going to add another movement in here in just a moment. This is kind of what I would call a unilateral motion, just kind of forward and back like this. Let's add another dimension. We're going to add a circle. Okay, and that's going to be with the hips. Okay, so maybe just take one more breath in and out with cat and cow. Come to a neutral position. And then just going to create just a big circle with the hips. Now your whole body might move. I'm starting to my left, sitting back, going to the right, and forward. Maybe 2 or 3 times this direction, and then pause and go the other direction. As you shift to the right, make sure you feel that in your hips, that right side, and again over to the left, you feel that. Again, we're not forcing it, but just enough where you sense something. It's like, okay, I feel that. All right, just getting into the hips a little bit, and then just come back to neutral. Hold in stillness, take a breath. All right, if you're on a blanket here, let's crawl off the blanket, set it to the side. We'll need that again, so keep it handy. Return to hands and knees on your mat. Let's get set up for down dog. You're going to step your hands forward, spreading out your fingers on your mat as wide as you can so you can feel that stretch between each finger. Then just press firmly down into the mat to stretch open your palms. As you press with this energy, feel strength in your arms. Tuck your toes. Do another cat-cow flow, and inhale, look up or forward, create the back bend. Exhale, round it all out into cat. Hold cat pose. Then lift your knees and then send your hips into the air, which should straighten out the spine. You might need to adjust your feet, maybe tiptoe forward a little bit, maybe a little wider. Hips are reaching into the air. You'll be able to do that when you bend your knees quite a bit and then press hands firmly into the mat. Make sure your head is relaxed here too. Now step forward a few steps with the feet until your feet are underneath you, flat on the ground. Then slide your fingers towards your toes. This is forward fold. Then inhale, slide your hands up the legs. Just rise up halfway so you have formed like a table with your own body. You're parallel to the floor. Hold here. Just for a couple of breaths. Keep feeling this extension through the spine. The exhale, you're still drawing belly button, in this case, up towards spine to maintain that sense of control. Now, shift your weight back into your heels. Bend your knees. Feel like you're about to sit down. Look up or forward. Take your arms out to the side and just fly upward. Standing up nice and tall, reaching into the air. Another nice stretch. Exhale, bring your arms down by your side. And just pause here for a moment. Feel free to roll your shoulders. Roll them backward a couple times, just some circles, and then forward, and then just kind of work down your arms. You might even do like a windmill with the elbows, a little circling the wrists, and wiggle your fingers, just to get into all the joints here. Since, plank and down dog, they really work this part of the body. Okay, let's do our half salute to the sun. We'll fold and come right back up. So starting in mountain pose, make sure your shoulders are rolled back but relaxed down like so. Here we go. Inhale, sweep the arms out and up, reaching towards the ceiling. Exhale, spread your wings, bend your knees, and start to fold forward. A good hinge from your hips, slowly coming down. Now, you don't have to go down all the way. Maybe your hands land right here at your shins, or just bend your knees more, round your back more to touch your toes. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs until you've recreated that tabletop. We'll call this half forward fold, and sometimes I call it monkey pose, just like this. Holding. Notice where you feel this. I really notice this in my hamstrings, okay? Because they are engaging to help you hold the posture. Be sure you're still exhaling and engaging your core system. Now let's stand. Shift weight into heels, bend your knees, feel like you're sitting down, look forward, spread your wings, then inhale and come up to standing. Reach up a bit higher as you're able, and exhale, arms return to your side. You can just hold here. Feel free to kind of shake things loose if you want to. Okay, we like to move into a warrior one variation, okay? We're gonna do it slightly different. We're actually gonna do a high lunge variation. Okay, almost the same, but you'll see there's just one little difference, okay? So let's start with mountain pose. Put a little bend in the knees, keep that softness in the knees. Start shifting weight into right foot, okay? Feel weighted and connected to the ground with the right foot. We're gonna lean forward just a little bit so you can start tapping the left foot back like this until it just kind of stops. You can't go any further. Heel is lifted, you're on your toes. Stay just like this. This is the difference, okay? We're just going to shift the weight back so we're still center, or we move to center, but that heel is still lifted. Rather than turning it to the floor for warrior one, this is the high lunge variation. Okay? So this takes a little bit more balance. You might notice you're maybe not as steady. That's because that heel isn't on the floor. Here's what I recommend. Activate the legs. Feel like you're squeezing the legs towards each other. Let me face you for a moment. Okay, feel like the legs might feel kind of wobbly here. So you want to feel like you're engaging and hugging in, okay? Strong in the thighs, okay? Now, we're going to inhale, take the arms straight up into the sky like so. Exhale, bend elbows to a good 90 degrees. Alrighty, so everything is facing forward. All 10 toes, hips, your heart, okay, facing forward. Make sure to engage the legs. Don't forget your core, belly button pulling in towards spine. This is our high lunge variation. We're doing something kind of similar in our lunging twist that's coming a little bit later. Inhale, shoot the arms straight up into the air. Exhale, bring your arms down, place them on your hips. Lean forward, shifting weight into right foot, enough so you can just step that left foot forward, feet together. Inhale, stand up tall. Let's take both arms up into the sky, another nice stretch. Exhale, arms return to your side. Feel free to shake that out, even all the way down to the toes, okay, if you need to kind of stretch out the feet a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to adjust my mat, and we'll do the other side. Okay, mountain pose, soft knees, shifting weight into left foot, grounded, leaning forward just a bit. Start tapping the right foot back. Find that natural stop. Heel is lifted. Weight is still forward for the moment, but then shift weight back. You can, let's go ahead and let the knees bend. Just kind of plop right into that pocket right there, okay? Hug inner thighs towards each other. Feel the strength in the legs. Torso still tall. We'll continue that lengthening through torso just by taking arms up into the air, lifting and lengthening. Exhale, bend elbows 90 degrees. We're facing forward, breathing, engaging. Core center, navel pulls in towards spine, and legs are pulling in towards center as well. Imagine you're maybe holding onto maybe a block between your knees. Very good. Couple more breaths. Find that balance. This takes a little bit more practice, that's for sure. All right, let's go ahead and inhale, shoot the arms straight up into the air. Exhale, bring the arms down. Bring your hands to hips. Lean forward, some pressure in this left foot. Lean forward, step right foot up to the top of the mat. Go ahead and inhale, arms up into the sky, another nice stretch. Exhale, arms return to your side. Shake it out if you'd like. All right, so that's our variation of high lunge. Let's go ahead and move into our sun salutation. Whenever you're ready, inhale, reaching out and up. Exhale, spread your wings, fold forward, good hinge from hips, bend your knees as much as you need to. Slowly make your way down, maybe touching the ground. Inhale, slide your hands up the legs, helping to extend the spine, lifting up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend, get low enough. Bend your knees more until your hands, your fingers can touch the ground. Walk or step both feet back, yes? Okay, to a plank pose. Once you've got the feet at the back end of your mat, just draw that straight line in the body as best as you can. Breathe in and exhale, bend your knees a little, send your hips up. There's our downward facing dog. You might need to tiptoe forward a little bit so you fully arrive in the posture. Feel the lengthening in the spine. Don't forget to relax your head and neck. Let's continue. We're going to a warrior one pose. Inhale, let's lift the right leg into the air. It doesn't have to lift high, but energetically reach to the back of the room. Exhale, bend your right knee a lot. Bring it in underneath you towards your chest as you shift your whole upper body forward until your shoulders are aligned over your wrists, over your hands. Set the right foot down. The heel will still be lifted. We're going to take a quick rest by taking the left knee to the floor. This will allow us to pick up the right hand, go get your right foot, pick it up and place it up near the top of the mat. Relift left knee. Now we will pivot left heel to the floor. This is our warrior one. Shifting weight back so there's more pressure in that back foot. Make sure you extend your spine, long torso, out over right thigh. Your hands will become light enough so you start to hinge up. Sweep your arms out and up into the air. Reach high. That's an in-breath. Exhale, lunge. Hold. We are in warrior one now. Now you may feel a little bit more in this left hip flexor, and that's good because that will also help us in our lunging position that will eventually twist. All right, let's breathe in right here. Exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of the room. Make sure your right knee is still pointing forward as you make this transition, and then your arms come down to parallel and reach across this room. Okay, hold for a breath or two. I'm going to adjust my feet just a little bit. There we go. Just feels a little bit more comfortable right there. And then reach out over the right knee just to angle the upper half of the body. Okay, the lower half didn't move. And then rotate your arm so right arm and hand are reaching towards the floor while left hand reaches up towards the ceiling, just like this. Some deep breaths so you feel this nice expansion opening through the chest. Remember, we want to get some more side stretching, so just take this left hand overhead. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to support myself a little bit more. I'm going to place my right hand on my thigh. I just feel a little bit more supported here so I can really extend. This feels really nice because I feel supported. I'm somewhat lifted. I'm not putting any extra pressure in that right knee or front leg. Just like that. All right, we're going to do the other side. Watch and follow me. We're going to come back up to a warrior two right here. You just go ahead and lower this left hand and let it rest by your side, and your hand is on your right thigh. Flip the right palm up. That was your left hand, sorry. Your right palm flips up, reaching up into the air. Inhale, nice extension. Exhale, maybe lunging a little deeper. Now we're just getting the right side stretch. Now I'm just reaching straight up. You might even reach somewhat forward. This works just fine, just as long as you're extending. If you have the ability and it feels okay on your body, you can reach back. Okay? So you create this, see how this bends through this system here? Okay? I'm not going too far, but the same thing, the hand on the thigh back here really can support your reaching feeling. Okay, let's come back up to a warrior two, more neutral, and then a big windmill or cartwheel. So this left hand now back here, up and over, turn to face forward, fold and bend, hands to the mat, rise up onto tiptoes behind you. Hold here for a moment because this is the workings, the beginnings of the lunge that will twist eventually. So hold here, just notice how this feels. Look at the body, look at your feet, look at your legs, hands and arms. Now press hands firmly into the ground, lifting the hips slightly so we can slide or even step the right foot back. We're in plank pose. Let's return to down dog. Just bend your knees, send your hips into the air. Adjust the feet, maybe even adjust your hands. Soft knees will help you to lift hips a little higher because they'll have a little bit more mobility. Extended spine, relax your head and neck. Let's do the other side. Inhale, lift the left foot, extend the left leg straight back behind you energetically. Exhale, bend the left knee, bring it in underneath you towards your chest, shifting body forward. Shoulders over wrists, set the left foot down, just your toes. Set the right knee down, just like so. Let's go get that left foot, place it up at the top of the mat. Relift the right knee, pivot right heel to the floor. Be sure you've got weight in that back foot. Okay. Extending the torso long out over your left thigh. Hinging from hips, rising up, reaching into the air. That's an inhale. Exhale, just lunge. So we're in the posture. Reach high, lunge low. Lots of energy in this back leg. Make sure you feel like your right foot is really pressing into the floor. It just kind of fires up that back leg. Left knee and toes are pointing forward. You may feel that hip flexor stretch in the right side. Breathe in. Exhale, turn your torso towards the right side of the room. Arms come down to parallel. Warrior two. Adjust feet if you need to for good balance, because we're going to be here a bit as we make these different transitions. Let's start with side angle. Reaching forward, left arm, angled upper body. Rotate the arms, left hand down, right hand straight up into the air. Maybe just a couple breaths like this, just to get that expansion and opening through the front body. And then you can bring your left hand to left thigh to help support. I'm just pushing down into mid-thigh, because this is a very strong part of the leg. And then start reaching right hand over your head. So we get that right side body stretch. And I just feel extra support because of the hand on the thigh. And then also be sure your right foot's still pressing firmly into the ground. Okay, we're going to press ourselves back up to a warrior two, and we're going to reverse the warrior. So right hand, just bring it down, that arm relaxes, hand on thigh. That's also going to support you. Left palm flips up, reach straight up into the air. Again, it doesn't matter which angle, okay, maybe slightly forward, maybe straight up towards the ceiling like at 12 o'clock. And with this hand on thigh perhaps for extra support, reach over your head behind you. It creates this bend in the torso It's a side bend. It also resembles kind of a back bend. It might even feel like a back bend. But we're getting that left side body stretch. Let's rise back up, return to a warrior two position. And then here comes our windmill. The right hand comes up and over, face forward, fold and bend, hands to the mat. Rise up onto tiptoes behind you, pause. This actually realigns the hips and low back for a moment. This is our runner's lunge. We'll be returning to this momentarily. Press palms into the floor, slide left foot back, plank pose. Okay, then go ahead and just set your knees onto the floor briefly, and then briefly sit back into hero, and then sit off to one side so we can swing the legs around to the front. Okay, sit in the center of your mat. Okay, we need to get into our back bend. So you want to have some blocks or a big cushion or your books for our supported bridge pose. Okay, once you're ready, go ahead and lie down onto your back. You might even draw your knees into chest. You might be encouraged to create some motion here for a little massage in the back. I'm doing little figure eights. And then you'll set your feet onto the ground, creating a little bit more opening through the whole front side of your body in our supported bridge pose. Make sure you've got your blocks in hand or your books. You're going to inhale, fill yourself up. Exhale for providing power and strength in the body, lifting hips into the air, slide your books or blocks underneath you, and then just sit on the blocks. I just have two. You might even have a stack of three. It's okay to be up higher, okay, to create a little bit more of a back bend feel, but it's okay to be kind of low. You can even just be on one block. I'm getting my arms and shoulders a little bit underneath me as well. It just feels a little bit more comfortable. There we are. I'm just really just resting, holding in stillness, not a lot of engagement in the body, but really being able to put more focus on the breath. Taking more expansive breaths here with the idea of really opening the front side of the body. Now if I was higher, if my hips were up higher, maybe another book or block underneath you, okay, this would be much more significant of a back bend, and more opening may occur in the whole front side, but certainly not necessary. Just even this formation of the body is quite beneficial. Let's take 3 more breaths. Now, if you are low to the ground, even though you may be sitting on some books or blocks, let me just show you one thing you could do, even just for a couple of breaths. Rather than keeping the knees bent and feet flat on the ground, you can just extend the legs out in front of you. You might be just on your heels, and you're going to feel maybe just a little bit more, okay, through the whole front side, because the legs are straighter here. Okay, just another option. All right, coming back onto the feet, so I can press feet into the ground, lift your hips, so you can remove your blocks out from underneath you, and then come down. Go ahead and hug both knees into chest. Okay, another massage here if you'd like. Let's take a twist here, okay? All right, gently send both knees over to the left side of the room while your right arm extends to the right side. Now we typically do this at the end of practice. We're going to add it here just to introduce more twisting, okay? In more of a relaxed situation. As the knees are pointing to the left side of the room, your back just resting comfortably on the ground. Take some deep cleansing breaths. So again, you can imagine perhaps that wet towel being wrung out. 2 more breaths. And carefully return to center when you're ready. Hold in center for a moment so things realign, okay, especially in the back body. And then take the knees over to the right side. Now if the legs don't go all the way down to the floor, and it's okay if they don't, maybe just use a pillow or a block or something, okay, between you and the ground, and that way you don't rotate too far. So knees to the right, left arm to the left, Feel comfortable here. Take a few deep breaths. Getting that cleansing, healing effect. So a nice full breath in. You can probably hear me sigh as I exhale. You can certainly do the same thing. And just notice how that feels when you do that. All right, 2 more breaths. And carefully return to center. Now to sit up, you're welcome to rock forward and back, creating enough momentum to rock yourself up to seated, which I'll do. But you can also just roll to your side and press yourself up until you come to seated. Let's just take a quick variation of a boat pose. Knees bent, heels on the floor, flexed feet. Hold on to the legs here with the hands. You're going to inhale, sit up as tall as can be, straight spine. Exhale, draw belly in. That's your core connection. And then start to lean back. Even just a little bit is perfect for this. That way we can stay here a long time, okay, and without feeling too tired. We won't hold here too terribly long, but enough where we have sensation of strength building. 2 more breaths. After the second breath, just rise up so you can come out of that pose. Okay, I'm just going to swing the legs around to the back once again. Come to hands and knees. Let's do 2 breaths, cat and cow. Inhale, lift head and heart, arching the back. Exhale, round it all out. 1 more. And then just come to a neutral position. You might step your hands forward a little bit. We're going to return to down dog. Okay, tuck your toes, lift your knees and hips. Feel the down dog posturing. And then step your feet forward to the center of your mat until they're flat on the ground. Slide your hands toward your toes. There's our forward fold. You might hold that for a few seconds. Then a weight shift back into your heels. Bend your knees. Feel like you're going to sit down. Look forward to help extend your spine. Then you can take your arms out to the side and stand up nice and tall. Reach for the ceiling once again. Exhale, arms return to your side. Okay? You can shake out those shoulders. All right, now that we're back to standing, let's do another twist, a standing twist. We're going to do it in chair pose, okay? So you might want to grab a block. I'm going to grab one of my blocks here and just place it between the thighs. And now when we squeeze or hold on to the block, we're just remembering to always hug to center line, okay, and just resembling the connection to the spine, the center of our body. But also to help stabilize the pelvis, because we want to make sure from the belt line down everything stays in place as we just rotate or twist the upper body. Okay, together, you got your block between the knees, between the thighs. Inhale, reach up, both arms. Exhale, take a chair pose. Let me turn sideways like this. Take a seat, hands come to heart center like so. Now I'm staying up high in the posture for the chair pose. You can do the same. You can certainly sit back and down a little deeper. I'm going to stay here for me. We're going to inhale, more length through the spine. Exhale, pull belly in and a twist to your right. A little rotation here. It doesn't have to be much. Kind of like what we did on the floor at the beginning of the practice where we just mildly twisted. Just felt that natural stop, not needing to go any further. Just focus on the breathing. Even though we've twisted, you want to feel like your hips or your tailbone is still reaching back, maybe to the back edge of your mat. Crown of your head should be aligned right to the center and pointing and moving forward. And we're just kind of spiraling on that axis. Let's breathe in. Exhale, unwind. Place hands on thighs. Press into the thighs to help you stand up. Go ahead and take the arms all the way up into the air, getting a little bit more length. Exhale, arms return to your side. Okay, you can shake that out if you'd like. We're going to do the other side, same thing. I'm just going to spin around this way. Inhale, reach into the air. Exhale, take your chair pose. Still okay to take a high seat. Wherever you are, you're going to bring hands to heart center. Now I do feel some weight in the heels and in my hips. Okay? And by leaning forward, that just helps with balance as well as drawing belly button in. Here we go. Breathe in, more length in the spine. Don't forget to squeeze your block as you exhale and pull belly in. Now a twist to your left. A mild rotation, feel the natural stop. Now once we get into the lunge with a twist, it'll be very similar to this. We'll just happen to be in a lunge, and we'll be on one knee when we lunge. Okay? Very nice. Couple more breaths. This may not seem like much if you're just watching, but if you're doing, you really feel this. Okay, breathe in. Exhale, unwind, hands on thighs. Grab your block, and then just slowly fold. Okay, coming down so you can place your block on the floor. And just relax here in a forward fold. We're going to continue our flow from here. You'll inhale, slide your hands up the shins a little bit to help extend your spine. It's okay if you're at an angle, but just straight and long through the torso. Exhale, fold and bend. Your back may round. Place your hands on your mat so you can step both feet back into plank pose. Make sure you draw that straight line. Right there. Okay, you're going to bring the knees to the floor. Okay. Keep your toes tucked and just sit back to what I've called our half hero just for a moment, because we're going to bring in that blanket. We just want to get it all set up. So I'm just going to place my blanket, okay, just across the mat, okay, like so. And I'm going to get my knees on it, okay? And then place your hands back out in front and return to down dog. There we are, okay? Let's start with the right leg. You're going to inhale and lift the right leg up into the air, nicely extended. Exhale, bend right knee, bring it in underneath you. If you're able, you're going to send that foot right up to the hand, or do what we did earlier. So we are stepping over the blanket. Just try to step over the blanket. But if you're unable to, just set the foot down, set the left knee down, pick up the right foot and place it up on the other side of the blanket. Now once we're in our runner's lunge, you're going to gently set your left knee down onto the blanket here. You can lengthen that back foot. Lift your upper body so your hands are on your thigh like this. We're going to get into that lunge. Before I do that, go get your blocks or your books. I want to get them on the left side here, okay? Or just so that they're ready to go. Okay, then rise up. I'm going to lean back just a little bit and start moving. Can you see this? I'm just moving my right foot way out front. So I'm changing this from a right angle. You know, I'm just changing that angle so the foot is way out in front of the knee, okay? I'm placing hands on thigh, pushing into the thigh gently. As I'm doing that, I'm inhaling to get as tall as can be up top, creating some space in the belt line and legs so I can start to lunge. This is the lunge I was talking about. Okay, you can kind of gauge how far you want to go, okay? I'm going to move my right foot forward a little bit more and lunge a little bit deeper. This is where you're going to get that nice hip flexor stretch. Now we're holding up here for a few more seconds. If the taller you are and the lunge, and the deeper the lunge, you're going to create this back bend feel. So you might feel this in your low back. But we're going to come out of that. This is where the blocks come in handy. So I'm just going to lean forward and place my hand on the blocks. I mentioned earlier, having a nice high stack of blocks can actually be quite helpful, okay, because it can support where you are up here, okay? Because I think the higher up you are, the torso has a lot of space to create the twist, which is coming next, okay? So I'm at this angle, trying to get an extended spine, got the support of the stacked blocks. Extend the right arm out to the right side, and just kind of revolve or twist to the right side. And you know what? I'm actually going to relax this hand. We're not going to use that arm. Go ahead and keep the right hand on your thigh, okay? And just support the rotation, just like we did earlier, okay? We had a hand on the thigh to support those side bends when we were in those warrior poses, and also in that seated twist, we just had the hands on the legs to support the twist. We're just doing the same thing here, so that an extended right arm won't get tired too quickly. So we're just going to hold here a few more breaths. If it feels okay, maybe you can lunge a little deeper. Okay, and again, without forcing it, maybe you can twist a little bit more. Notice where you have sensation. A couple more breaths here. Again, we want to be able to be in a space where we're not pushing or forcing, but we can be here in a safe place and even hold this for a good period of time. Okay, I'm coming out of that deep lunge. I'm unwinding, so I'm facing forward and down. Okay, I'm actually going to start moving those blocks to the other side. Get my hands on the thighs to lift myself up, lean back a little bit so I can slide this right foot in. So I'm here, okay? Now, leaning forward to get the palms on the floor. Tuck toes behind me. Okay, lift the knee off the blanket as you're able. This might take a little maneuvering. Okay, I'm just kind of sliding or picking up the foot and stepping over the blanket. And it might even move, but that's okay. I'm just going to adjust here. We're going to do the other side. So let's come back to a downward facing dog. Let's pick up the left leg, extend it back, inhale. Exhale, bend left knee, shifting forward as you're able, stepping over the blanket, or just another option, okay, like we did earlier. And then set right knee down onto the blanket. While you're still down here, you might even bring in those blocks so they're ready to go. Start to rise up so your hands are on your thigh like this. Okay, I'm going to lean back a little bit more. Move the left foot forward. Now, I didn't explain why we're doing this. We're doing that because when we get into the lunge, we don't want to get too much force or pressure in that knee. If I kept it here and start to lunge, too much pressure might show up in the knee, in the shin. So we're just moving the foot forward. So when we lunge, it doesn't hurt. I'm pressing gently into mid-thigh. Inhale, get nice and tall. Making space in the belt line, so when I exhale, I can just kind of sink very nicely into the lunge. I think this feels good, just like this. Remember, the taller you are and the deeper the lunge, we create a bit of a back bend. So you're going to feel that tension back there. But then just go ahead and lean forward to get out of that back bend sensation. Your right hand can come down to your stacked books or blocks. And just lean into it. I'm even extending my spine a little bit more, like I'm shooting forward. I'm just going to keep that left hand on the thigh. Inhale for some length in the torso, and our exhale, here's the twist. Okay, that's all it is. A couple breaths here. Again, as you create the space, as you're wringing things out, okay, maybe you can lunge a little deeper, get a little bit more in that right hip flexor. Maybe twist a little bit more, but check in each time. Keep assessing. Because if you feel like, oh, that's a little bit too far, that's gone beyond my 60%, and then soften it up, lighten up the pose. So it doesn't feel like your body is going to react and go into stress mode. That's what we're trying to prevent, okay, or at least minimize. How about 3 more breaths here? And after that third breath, maybe start to come out of that deep lunge, start to unwind. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way, start to rise up. I'm just pressing into my thigh to rise up, leaning back so I can slide this left foot back in, a little bit more supported. Hands out front, tuck toes behind me, lifting the knee off the blanket. And then just kind of slide that left foot back, and of course it moved the blanket, but that's okay. Then we're going to kneel down so you can actually move the blanket out of the way. And just stay here on hands and knees, and let's take cat and cow, maybe 3 breaths. We'll do what we did earlier. We'll start with this unilateral motion. Okay, getting that nice curvature in the spine, that rocking of the pelvis. And after the third breath, you might want to do those circles again. Just kind of get into the hips, a little massage for the hips after doing those lunges. Okay. Doing a couple circles one direction, and then we'll go the other direction. And then when you're complete, just come back to a neutral posture. Sit back briefly in hero so you can just get off the hands. Sit off to the side. And swing the legs around to the front. Go ahead and sit in the center of the mat. We are going to do another back bend. Okay, we'll do bridge pose once again. So sit in the center of your mat. Got your books or blocks. Roll down onto your back. Maybe a quick hug of the knees in. And then set the feet down on the ground. We're moving right into it. So breathe in, fill up your lungs. Grab hold of your blocks. Exhale, lifting hips into the sky. Slide your blocks underneath you.
Okay, now remember, you can maybe stack 3 blocks to create a higher back bend, or remove a block or 2 to have a lower back bend. Feet can stay on the floor, or even do that leg extension on the floor, which I'm going to do right here, just to feel something a little different. And just a few breaths. Alrighty, now we're going to stay seated on the blocks, okay? You can always remove a block if you feel like you're too high, but bring the legs together so they almost touch. And then take the knees out to the side, left knee to the left, right knee to the right, and maybe the soles of your feet will touch. And gravity will just kind of pull the legs down. We're not going to hold here too long because this could potentially be too significant of a stretch in the inner legs, okay? So if that's too much, you can always come out of the pose immediately. Okay, maybe just 2 more breaths, just to feel this nice release. It also helps to release the back a little bit. Okay, we'll come back up, plant the feet into the ground so you can lift the hips, remove the blocks out from underneath you, carefully roll your way back down. Let's hug knees into chest, maybe a little massage. Let's take an inverted pose. So we're simply extending the legs up into the air. Now this too could be done on a stack of blocks, or even placing a nice cushion underneath you. Right now I'm just doing it on the floor. Legs are straight up. I'm just holding on to the legs in my hands. Right now my legs are straight, but you can always put a bend in the knees and kind of relax this a little bit. Okay, it doesn't have to be too solid, okay, of an extension. You can soften it up. And since the feet are in the air and they're free, just maybe circle the ankles. Maybe wiggle your toes if you're able. I like to create more motion just to get into the knees and in the hips. And I do that by doing some bicycle pedaling. Even taking the knees wide, and then back in. Even crossing the legs, getting into the outer hips a little bit. Okay, just a couple more breaths. You can just be holding in stillness, just legs in the air. And when you're complete, we'll just hug the knees back into chest. Let's finish up with those spinal twists like we did earlier. So we'll start by sending the knees over to the left, right arm to the right. Okay, just a repeat of what we did earlier, but it can certainly be another opportunity for that relaxation. So just melt into the posture. Two more breaths. And then when you're ready, slowly return to center. Be sure just to pause here, allowing the spine and low back to kind of recuperate and realign. And then take knees to the right, left arm to the left. Don't forget that breathing where you can inhale deeply, maybe exhale with a sigh. It really gives you that sense of relaxing. And we're almost at the end. Maybe just one more check-in with your breathing. Notice how you feel. And we'll start to move into our final relaxation pose. Take 2 more breaths. Then take your time to return to center. You might hug your knees into your body. Even take a moment here and just think, is there anything else I need to do or want to do? Maybe you want to do another, maybe a hip opener, another leg extension, or even another back bend or twist. But if you feel complete, go ahead and find that relaxation posture. It could be Shavasana, where you extend your legs out front on the ground, arms down by your side on the ground, and just rest here. Now if you need some extra padding or support, Use your blankets, use your bolsters and blocks, anything you want to do here, just to have that complete relaxation in the body. And once you have it, just find stillness. The only movement here may be just the movement of your breathing. You're welcome to keep your eyes open. You might just be gazing upward past the ceiling. Or you can certainly close your eyes, gazing inward. Continue to tune into your breathing. Sometimes just lying in stillness, our brains begin to wander away from this present moment. We start thinking about what's coming next and what we're doing after the yoga practice. So if you've noticed that, just take a moment, take a deep breath, and return to this present moment. And as always, you're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Even as I end the practice, you can stay right where you are. Continue to focus on your breathing. And with this awareness, when you're ready to move, let's start with breath. Maybe taking 5 slow, deep breaths. Take your time with this. Nice expansive breaths. Imagine that breath just moving through the entirety of your body. As you're breathing in and out, you might feel movement gently return to your body. Without moving too quickly, you're going to roll onto either side of your body. I usually start by bending my knees, feet on the floor, so I can easily maneuver myself onto my side. I'm just holding here in this nurturing pose for a breath or two. And then taking a new breath, pressing into the floor with the hands to help lift myself up. Here you might bring in a blanket or pillow to sit on if you'd like. And just come to a comfortable seated position. Just returning to the space where we began our practice. Even just noticing how you feel. Maybe feeling quite different from the beginning of the practice. Feel nice and tall, well lengthened through your spine. Let's take one more movement and breath together. Inhale, reach out and up, lengthening through the sides. Exhale, bring your palms together and down to your heart. Hold here in stillness, taking one more breath. And as we come to the close of our practice together, we bow, saying, Namaste.